In this video, I'm going to give you 5 bad speech habits that I recommend avoiding, and I also have a bonus tip for you. Okay, the next bad habit that I recommend avoiding is mumbling. So you might hear native speakers, and maybe it's your neighbor, someone you go to school with, someone you work with, and they just mumble and you think, okay, that's how I should talk because I'll sound more like a native if I do that. But mumbling is a problem because when you mumble, we can't understand what you're saying a lot of the time. Okay, the next bad speech habit that I recommend avoiding is speaking too loud or too soft, too quietly, okay? You really want to know what the appropriate volume is for where you are at. And some people have a habit of speaking really loud when they are in environments when they should not be speaking that loud, or they're very timid and so they speak so softly that you can't hear them, right? So you want to be able to adjust your voice according to the environment that you're in. Now, as a non-native speaker, sometimes you might feel a little bit shy, like, oh, I don't know if I should speak up, and so you're really quiet. And I want to encourage you to use your voice and to practice finding that power in your diaphragm, okay? To really support your voice so that you are heard and so that you command attention and you say, hey, I have an idea and it's a good idea and I want to share it and it's worth listening to, okay? Okay, so my final tip, my bonus tip, and probably the biggest, most important tip of this entire video is do not imitate without considering the attitude behind what you are imitating, okay? So here's what I mean. You might hear a native speaker speaking in a certain way and you imitate them word for word, exactly what they say as they say it, and the tone you have spot on, and it might be great. You might sound like, wow, she sounds like a native speaker. He sounds like a native speaker. That's awesome. But what you don't realize is the native speaker that you're imitating is actually being rude or condescending or patronizing or impatient, or maybe they are being dismissive or judgmental or sarcastic, okay? And these are not great characteristics and qualities when it comes to speaking and communicating, okay? These are things that are offensive, and it's up to you how you want to communicate, and communication that is just kind and considerate and gets good results or better results for you. So again, just because you hear a native speaker speaking in a certain way, don't just imitate blindly thinking, okay, that's how native speakers talk, I want to sound like that. Really listen to the tone that they're using, listen to the words that they're using, listen for exaggeration, listen for these negative things, and ask yourself, do I want to communicate like this? How do I want to be seen? Okay, the next bad habit that I recommend avoiding is mumbling.
Okay, the next bad habit that I recommended avoiding is mumbling.
Okay, the next bad speech habit that I recommend avoiding is speaking too loud or too soft, too quietly.
Okay, the next bad speech habit that I recommended avoiding is speaking too loud or too soft, too quietly.
As a non-native speaker, sometimes you might feel a little bit shy.
As a non-native speaker, sometimes you might feel a little bit shy.
Okay, so my final tip, my bonus tip, and probably the biggest, most important tip of this entire video.
Okay, so my final tip, my bonus tip, and probably the biggest, most important tip of this entire video
is do not imitate without considering the attitude behind what you are imitating, okay?
is do not imitate without considering the attitude behind what you are imitating.